Now the slow, deliberate steps that may amount to one giant leap. A man in France, paralyzed from the shoulders down, is now able to walk using a robotic suit controlled by his mind.
Hollywood is making light of our phone obsession with a new comedy called Jexy.
It's about a guy whose new phone has an artificial intelligence program that takes over his life.
Technology has created a miracle for a man who had been paralyzed from the shoulders down. He can now walk using a robotic skeleton that's controlled by his brain.
This 28-year-old is attached to a rope holding him stable, but what's propelling him forward is his mind. With the help of this exoskeleton, it's essentially using a system of sensors implanted near his brain.
They record electric signals from his brain and send commands to the exoskeleton to move his limbs. The patient had to train on a video game avatar system for 2 years to train the system's algorithm to understand his thoughts. The exoskeleton is a product of a 2-year-long trial.
Scientists say it's a breakthrough in providing home to those who are trying to regain movement. For example, it could potentially lead to brain-controlled wheelchairs for paralyzed patients. But for now, it's still an experiment and a long way from being a practical application.
It is a way forward, but science is amazing, technology does all sorts of things. But we know through the world, and this is the Centre of Global Health at the London School, that only 15% of people have the mobility devices that they need. This wheelchair that I sit in, designed for me, cost £2,000. What we need to do is to make this sort of technology, which transforms lives, available to more people in the developing world.
4 years ago, this man was paralyzed in a fall. Even today, his spinal cord is too badly damaged to transmit signals from his brain to his limbs. And yet he can walk by using the power of the mind and a 65-kilo exoskeleton. The road ahead may be long, but every journey begins with a single step.
Oh yes, most of us are hopelessly attached to our cell phones. And now Hollywood is making light of our phone obsession with a new comedy called Jexy.
It's about a guy whose new phone has an artificial intelligence program that takes over his life. Kick On's Brittany Hopper spoke to the stars at tonight's premiere in Westwood.
A movie we can all relate to because many of us, including myself, are addicted to our cell phones, and it's getting laugh out loud reviews.
Hello, my name is Jexy, and I am here to make your life better.
Whoa, look at that. That's cool.
This new CBS Films comedy called Jexy is about a man's new cell phone which turns into a nightmare. The artificial intelligence program, similar to Siri or Alexa, becomes obsessed with him.
I will need the passwords to all of your accounts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Stupid.
Huh?
Adam Devine, who plays Phil, says it wasn't so easy having a cell phone as his co-star.
The crew couldn't hear what the phone was saying. A lot of the crew didn't have earbuds in, so it's just me looking like a maniac going like, really, Jexy, into this phone, and they couldn't hear what Jexy's saying back to me, so I look like a lunatic.
When Devine's character falls in love, Jexy gets mad and gets even.
You told me it was supposed to be sunny!
I lied.
I need a new phone. This one is defective.
I see hipster dudes like you come in here every day, like little crackheads.
I think we all just had a lot of fun together, and I think that's key when you're making a movie, is to have fun, because then the audience will then have fun.
You want people to have a good time. Like, this is one of those kind of movies.
Jexy hits theaters next Friday. In Westwood, I'm Brittany Hopper for KCAL 9.
Our first stop, Silicon Valley in California. Apple, Google, and Facebook all have their headquarters here. It's the epicenter of the digital revolution. The tech industry has changed the face of the San Francisco Bay Area. New startup companies launch every day. Rents have exploded, and artificial intelligence is the buzzword. A new type of supermarket recently opened its doors here. Amazon Go. All you need here is an app.
And since you have an Amazon account already, you can use the same credentials.
Hold your mobile phone to the scanner, and you're in. As Leonardo shows me Amazon's new menus and explains that the language assistant Alexa can help with the preparation at home, I'm under constant surveillance. Which shelf do I stop at? Which products am I interested in? On the ceiling, sensors and cameras. Intelligent image recognition captures my every move. What do I take off the shelf? What do I put back? And what do I take with me? This branch is still in its test phase, but Amazon plans to open 50 such grocery stores this year alone. The end of the sales assistant. Just walk out. No more standing in line. No cashiers. I feel a bit like a shoplifter as I leave. Comfort at the cost of privacy.
Is that Facebook's next potential step? I mean, they seem to be getting into just about everything else. After the most recent acquisition, some people are now starting to think it's almost heading in that direction, right? Here's RT correspondent Natasha Sweet reporting from Los Angeles.
Social media giant Facebook is in the process of acquiring Control Labs, a neural interface startup, between $500 million to a reported $1 billion. The startup is known for its software, which enables users to control computer devices with their brain. Facebook is looking for more natural, intuitive ways to work with different devices and wants to build this kind of technology at scale. That's according to the social media giant's Vice President of Augmented Reality and Virtual Reality Divisions, Andrew Bosworth. Insiders say this could be one of Facebook's most substantial acquisitions within the last 5 years. The flagship product of Control Labs is a wristband that measures neuron activity to transmit it into computer input. While the device doesn't read your mind, it decodes electrical impulses from muscle fibers. It then moves and translates them into a digital signal your device can understand. Control Labs co-founder Thomas Reardon says the goal is to explore new interactions and to exploit powers you already have.
The question at Control Labs is not how do we make our devices more capable, it's how do we ourselves become more capable.
This robot just introduced itself as an android created to speak freely. Erica is the world's first cyborg-type robot, developed to help you around the house. The Japanese roboticist behind the machine says the technology gets a bad rap because of Hollywood films.
I cannot believe this. Why, the Hollywood hate the robots so much, and Hollywood want to destroy this world with a robot so many times. It seems crazy.
To him, the relationship between humans and technology is a natural one. Ishiguro says recent breakthroughs in robots and artificial intelligence will accelerate the synthesis of human and machine. It's unclear what the actual dangers of this technology are. Robots are widely used in Japan, but not all of them look like us. While only a handful of people are looking to fine-tune technology that could blur the line between human and machine, it's likely to become more than mere science fiction sooner than we think.
Nothing like as smart as those that won the Cornell Cup. Welcome to Digits. I'm Simon Constable, and we have one of the team members who won the Cornell Cup this year. It's Nick McGill, University of Pennsylvania graduate, just graduated earlier this week. There he is. Nick, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on winning the Cornell Cup. Why did you win? I think it has something to do with the apparatus you're wearing.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, so I'm part of the Team Titan from the University of Pennsylvania. My team members, Elizabeth Beatty, Nick Parada, and Nikolai Vladimirov, supported us through the entire project, and we developed a powered upper body exoskeleton. So you can see right here, I'm wearing this apparatus that goes along my bone structure. Right here.
And what is it used for, Nick? I mean, it looks very fancy. It's clearly impressed the judges. But for folks who don't really know the technicals of it, how would this be used?
Yeah, so when we envisioned this project, we wanted to do something that would be applicable to those who had upper body injuries. So we developed a project that has a motor at the elbow joint. So right here, it's actually used for physical therapy and healthcare applications. You'll see that we've got a power joint on the elbow, so you could imagine using this to rehabilitate your muscles. And on each of the joints, we have Hall effect sensors. These allow us to track the range of motion of each of the joints.
And how did you come up with the idea for that? Is that something personal? You thought, okay, this is something that's not out there, needs to be?
Yeah, so I actually got really interested in, I guess, healthcare and electronics last year when I took Professor Mongram's course in embedded systems. I worked on a project using the Microsoft Kinect to develop an at-home physical therapy system. Once I got involved in that, I started realizing that there are a lot of great applications, and a lot of my team members had great input on different sorts of healthcare applications, and had some good stories as well.
Now, I understand there's a very large, heavy weight just off camera there. You're going to get that now and demonstrate for us how this might work.
Sure thing. Nico, can I have the weight? So right here, Nico just handed me a 20-pound weight. So basically what it allows me to do, this suit gives me extra strength so that I can add on to my additional strength. And also, if I put on the ratchet braking, it gives me the ability to hold the weight in place. Now you can imagine in a warehouse setting where you're lifting a lot of heavy boxes or weights, you're going to be walking with a big box and you want to hold it in place. So our suit has the capability to hold this weight, and I don't have much fatigue at all.
So if I wanted to be a muscle man, there is still hope for me. What is the maximum amount that arm can lift?
Yeah, so this arm, we found that we can add 40 pounds onto what your lifting capability is in existence. Now, we weren't trying to max out the weightlifting capability. We were more aiming for assistive lifting and reducing fatigue, as well as our applications in physical.
Neural interfaces are the root solution to this problem.
Bosworth says technology like this has the potential to open up new creative possibilities and reimagine 19th century inventions in a 21st century world. Ultimately, he believes it'll change the way we connect. Brain computing technology has been in the works for Facebook since 2016, part of the company's Building 8 division. And while still years away from commercialization, the company is working with the University of San Francisco and showing what they call promising results. In Los Angeles, Natasha Sweet, RT.
Marching through snowy woods. Just imagine hundreds or thousands of them. One YouTube user describes a fictitious conversation going like this. Boston Dynamics employee, "Hey pal, how are you today?" Atlas, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle." Sound familiar?
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
For now, Atlas doesn't ride a motorcycle or wear clothes. It also doesn't have the artificial skin that some companies are already in the process of developing for robots. But that's for a later story. To quote the Terminator, "I'll be back."
That is something. Remember, we program robots.
By the way, I can't stop. I'm a big sports fan. So on weekends, I like to watch my Minnesota Twins or Miami Dolphins or whatever. I like to watch sports. Every commercial is about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. It's coming. It's going to be great. It's going to make your life wonderful. I think about you all the time when I see those commercials. They're everywhere.
Artificial intelligence programs itself. And the first thing artificial intelligence wants to do is to figure you out. And whenever we talk about robots, whether it's sex robots or war robots, we're not talking about something that we are in control of anymore. Now, the next part, once these are armed, let's go back in time. One of the worst things that ever happened in warfare was the use of the longbow. Because it was the first time that man separated himself from mano a mano. I'm looking at you in the eye and I'm stabbing you and I'm smelling you when we're fighting. And once I distance myself from my enemy, I lose the impact of what I'm doing. You're not the same. I can divorce myself. I've shot the arrow. I don't have to see
almost
anymore.
Cowardly, right?
It's called artillery. It's called bombing. It's called warfare.
I'm fascinated by China, but it also puzzles me. How can they be reconciled? The high civilization of ancient China and the modern industrial state. with surveillance cameras everywhere. The Longgan district in Shenzhen. In the heart of China's booming economic region north of Hong Kong, we visit the Smart City Control Center. So is Shenzhen currently healthy or sick? A smart surveillance system scans the entire city. Illegal structures, like this one on a roof, are quickly identified and demolished. To me, some of this feels like the backdrop to a science fiction movie. Employees with live streaming body cams inspect side streets. This is total surveillance. Chen shows me how cameras installed in restaurant kitchens even keep tabs on cleanliness. But doesn't the chef mind being monitored all the time?
The system logs all the people who view the images. Anyone who looks at them without permission is punished.
Total transparency for the purpose of progress. Chen says residents of Longgang District approve. Jaywalking is not allowed, and offenders are immediately identified. Look here. You jaywalk once, and right away your social credit score drops. This degree of surveillance is unthinkable in the West. But here in China, they take a different view and say it's driven a drop in crime. What does it say here?
Male youth without glasses.
Youth?
Yes, suddenly you're a youth.
I love Chinese facial recognition. Youth. A transparent society in the interest of efficiency. Some of this appears useful, but do we really want to measure, control, and analyze everything just because it's technically possible? Won't that inevitably lead us down a road to data dictatorship? Given big tech's monopoly power, calls for regulation are growing louder in Washington.
When you have a monopoly, whether it's over retail, whether it's over search, then it means that the public doesn't actually have the ability to understand how that information is being used, how that power is being used. Monopoly per se, unless it is regulated closely by the public, is a danger. Google means to take over the world. They mean to direct our thoughts between person and person, our communications between person and person, our dealings in business between person and corporation. They mean to direct everything that they can. They want to know what's going on in our thermostats in our houses. They want to know what we're watching on TV. They are at a level of hubris that even the Stalinists could never have imagined pushing for.
I will need the passwords to all of your accounts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Stupid.
Huh?